Oda just revealed Shanks' past and how he became a Yonko 6 years ago.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
As with just one arm, he defeated the strongest giant to exist in Loki, locking him up till this day. This feat from then on also gave Shanks his first Emperor territory in Elbaph. One Piece chapter 1131 reveals all this through Luffy's interaction with the chained up Loki. If you guys forgot how he ended up alone and away from his crew, well, after over drinking on that wrong kind of game or stop, he along with Zoro, Sanji, Chopper, Usopp and Nami was separated from the others and taken to Elbaph early. This was thanks to Rodo, who has a bad habit of sending his giant raven to kidnap ships nearby. But the moment they got to the island, Luffy had been hearing roars and felt goosebumps from a presence at the bottom of the island near the base of the giant Yggdrasil tree. So bursting out of Rhodes' playhouse, Luffy being Luffy, tells the squad that he is gonna check it out. This leads us to Loki, who we learned from the great giant pirates along with his elder brother Hydrodin. They are the sons of Elbaph's late King Herald. But what sets Loki apart is that he is accursed. Due to greed and desire for power, he sought the ultimate treasure of Elbaph, the most powerful legendary devil fruit known to the giants, which had been passed along the lines of the royal family since the ages. Likely due to knowing that he, as the little brother, would never see this power come to his hands, Loki decided to take it. Like literally. But to do that, he had to, kill his father. Yes, there cannot be a greater sin than this. Imagine killing the man who carried you in his balls and then broke his back raising your ass just so he can die by your hands. Well, I guess this devil fruit power was kind of worth it, because this granted Loki an ability which dubbed him the Sun God of Elbaph, a title which had been passed through the tales of history. But his means to achieve it didn't sit well with their people. So all the warriors of Elbaph ganked his ass and locked him up. What did you expect, man? Honestly, you can't just go killing the king expecting nothing to happen. But hey, to his credit, he might have been able to take on everyone if a special person wasn't around. We also get confirmation that the chains that are tied around Loki are made of sea prism stone, meaning, of course, he cannot use his broken legendary devil fruit to break out. However, this guy is literally nuts, since he wants to start Ragnarok as he stated in chapter 1130. But Luffy is not fazed whatsoever. He is just super excited to be in Elbaph as he sees how massive the land is, all whilst completely ignoring Loki's conversation until it pisses him off. We then get to witness Loki's bounty of 2.6 billion berries. But a thing to note here is that his bounty is considered to be a special case, similar to Robin's and Sanji's, where Robin was given her bounty not because of power, but because of the threat of reading the poneglyph, while Sanji's, well, yeah, his father was just an asshole, just wanted to use him. In Loki's case though, since he calls himself the actual sun god, along with having a desire to destroy the world, the government decided they weren't playing around. However, Loki has a massive god complex, similar to Enel, stating that he bears the term sun god that has been passed down in the tales of Elbaph for many years and commands Luffy not to talk without his permission, even going so far as to make the distinction between themselves, with Luffy being just a mere human. Boy, Luffy better whip out his Nico form real quick and shut him up, because the tales they carry also speaks about how the sun god looked like, as in chapter 1111, Uncle Dory and Broggy instantly matched Luffy's Nico form as the sun god. Regardless, Loki gets to the point and we can see what he's trying to do. He questions Luffy on what he thinks about his current situation, in which Luffy just states the obvious, he's locked up. Well, in the Norse mythology, Loki is the god of mischief, trickery, and deception. And so using these methods, he tries to trick Luffy into releasing him. But what makes this interaction so funny is that our boy finally becomes a victim of his own abuse. Loki calls him Rhodey.
Well. How the turntables...
But this is where things start getting very interesting. Loki states that he's been trapped for 6 years now and is considered to be the strongest being in Elbaph. But wait, how many years ago did Shanks become a Yonko? Yep, 6. So it's all but confirmed that Shanks was the one who helped the Elbaf's warriors in taking him down. It's even possible that Loki, being the spoiled prince that he is, killed his father, stole the devil fruit and went on a rampage just because he was rejected by Lola and was just, throwing a tantrum. If we look at the timeline, 2 years ago, Lola was said to have been trapped in Thriller Bark for 5 years. She had formed the Rolling Pirates and ran away after rejecting Prince Loki's marriage proposal. So if we assume that all that happened prior to Lola's first year as a pirate, then Loki proposed to her 7 years ago, or a year before his own capture. Remember, during his time as prince, Big Mom believed marrying her daughter to him would repair her relationship with Elbaf after her tantrum as a child led to the death of the elder Yordle. So at this point, Loki's reputation in Elbaf couldn't have been too bad. But when Lola ran away, Big Mom offered her twin Chiffon, who Loki rejects, showcasing he actually fell in love with Lola and wasn't trying to get married for any other reason. So maybe due to the rejection, being second place from the throne, feeling emasculated, he felt he needed power, leading him to his horrendous actions. The legendary devil fruit was kept as a treasure and passed down the royal line, but the king must have protected it. This would have forced Loki into taking his life. Warriors in Elbaf also proved their strength by battle, so in his eyes, he might have felt that taking the king's life would have also gave him authority to be the new king. The other possibility is that the royal family of Elbaf had been holding a devil fruit passing ritual. Similar to how the Blackbeard pirate steals devil fruits, the kings in Elbaf would pass their title and powers to the eldest son during their own death and the coronation of the next king. This would also likely be a way to pass on their will and fire to the next life. Much like how Ace's will lives on in Sabo and Joy Boy's in Luffy. So sadly for Hyruddin, he would have gotten this fruit. I guess after feeling the absence of the power, he decided to participate in Doffy's tournament for Ace's fruit, which actually gives us some insight on the legendary devil fruit that Loki ate. As Hyruddin going out of his way to fight for the Mira Mira no Mi could have been due to it resembling the power that was stolen by Loki, where the legendary devil fruit passed through their royal family could be the literal embodiment of the sun. The legends of sun god Nika in Elbaf clearly revolves around the actual sun itself, from the solstice festival to their shields to their attacks to other elements. But most importantly, using my deep knowledge on Norse mythology, Loki had another title that most of you might have not known: the God of Fire. If this isn't a slam dunk, I don't know what is. This would also play into the idea of Ragnarok, as in one rendition, Loki reveals his hope to turn into fire itself and destroy Valhalla. Now, regardless if he has eaten the sun fruits or not, all this proves is that Loki is freaking OP, that it took all of the warriors in Elbaf, Shanks and his crew to defeat him. This could be the reason why Shanks is highly respected in Elbaf, along with being the milestone establishing him as a Yonko in the first place, as after this whole situation, he got his own fleet and had his pirate flag protecting Elbaf since their king had just died. But coming back to the chapter, Loki confirms what we all believed. The giant tree in Elbaf is actually the treasure tree Adam. It's also a reference to Jack and the Beanstalk, along with Yggdrasil from the Norse mythology, which is known as the world tree that connects all the realms together. This is highlighted when Loki says he can't escape, as he is chained around the monstrous tree, which is the kingdom of Elbaf itself. Like Yggdrasil, this tree has held up the many homes, villages, cities and communities on its branches. Loki then continues to reveal that the place they are currently at is the Underworld, which is also a direct representation of Helheim under Yggdrasil. Funny enough, in the myth, this place is ruled by Loki's daughter Hela. Loki further explains that this lower land space is where people die a dishonorable death, such as in Norse terms, not on the battlefield, where they go to hell, whereas a good death would have sent you to Asgard, seated amongst the gods. And just like its counterpart, this underworld is a snowy land where giants that commit crimes are exiled to until they wait for their execution. But here is where things get even more crazy. Loki reveals that according to their myth and legends, the mountain's landmass that Elbaph is situated on existed for over tens of thousands of years and was known as the primordial world. This brings us to my deep theory that the Sunlight Eve and Treasure Tree Adam were planted alongside each other by the first native beings, giants who were once fishmen. Yep, the ancestors of the people of Elbaf originated from the sea. This is why the ancient Poseidon, Shirahoshi, King Neptune, and some of the other fish folks are ginormous, as they still have remnant DNA of the past. It's also not far-fetched to say that the Sea Kings, who can communicate, are the first communities to exist on the planet. Then came the fish folks, to the giants, to then possibly the humans. But according to my theory, the transition from the gigantic fish folks to the giants we see now were formed through a unique outcome. Similar to the Skypiea and Gaia situation, the landmass around the Adam tree was knocked upwards, but from out of the seabed to on top of the ocean, floating away until it was stabilized, hence being the first world. This would explain the connection between the Adam and Eve tree, both having the same point of origin. In one translation, Loki says the mountains were from a time where the sun died, which could be an obvious reference to the pitch darkness under the ocean. Moreover, these ancient people probably used the two trees as a source of prayer and wishes. According to Vegapunk, devil fruits were created from the imagination of people who came before, so Treasure Tree Adam, like in its namesake, would accept the wishes and prayers that the people treasured, linking back to Yggdrasil's free will. Once the wishes were made, Sunlight Eve, like its namesake, would give birth to the devil fruits holding the wish in it. Now, we already explained why Imu covets the red line and how Eve reaches out to the Garden of Marijoa, which once was taken care of by the Lunarians. But hey, if you guys want me to go into this in more detail, then smash the like button and let me know down in the comment section below. But regardless, all of this proves that the first sun god was in fact a giant. The will of its user passing down through the centuries, and then the need to become big and stretch things might be due to this as well. Anyways, getting back to the chapter, Loki explains all of this to scare Luffy. First, he offers him a deal. If Luffy goes up to the kingdom of Elbaf and brings back the key holding him imprisoned, then my guy Loki will solo any pirate crew of Luffy's liking. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he can do it. But Luffy doesn't need any help. However, if he refuses to take this offer, then Loki insinuates that he will have to deal with the jailers of the Underworld, which are gigantic beasts that roams around the forest so that no one comes to the Underworld willingly. However, Loki is friends with these beasts since he was a little kid and tells Luffy to be careful since they are all considered to be kings of the mountain. This just shows that Loki was a lonely child and didn't have much friends, so he would go willingly to the bottom of the Underworld and play with these beasts. But just as he says this, all these beasts emerges in front of Luffy, ready to tear him open limb by limb. However, Luffy is unfazed. All it does is remind him of the good old days training with Rayleigh. Alongside these beasts were some humans in gas masks and weird outfits, which Loki explains they are the same people who came to Elbaf looking for a fight, but unfortunately for them, they bit off more than they could chew, which resulted in them also being imprisoned in the Underworld. But this is Luffy we are talking about. Animals just love this guy. His haki is on another level. Remember the Kraken in Fishman Island? Yep, this is exactly what happens to the beast in the Underworld as well, which shocks the humans and even Loki himself. But just then, the humans reveal that Shanks, out of all people, came to the Underworld where he had used his conqueror's haki to put them all to sleep. And what do you know, Luffy, hearing Shanks' name, gets hella excited. Loki, noticing this, he takes this opportunity to commit blasphemy. He tells Luffy, are you a friend of Redhead? That cowardly pirate. Yeah, he showed up. But without a moment's notice, Luffy goes gear 4 and punches him. Loki, just by a mere second, was able to dodge by moving his head to the right and said, "I can't move, you idiot," brushing off what he said about Shanks as a joke. But Luffy's like, nah, you better put respect on his name. Now, there could be two reasons behind his statement. One is that Loki is just messing around trying to gauge Luffy's character and his relationship to Shanks, or he actually thinks Shanks is a coward. This could be because Shanks probably probably used the help of the other giants to defeat Loki and didn't give him an actual 1v1 fight like a true warrior. But regardless, being so helplessly chained up, he just thinks to himself that he's gonna kill Luffy as soon as he's free. But for now, he can't do much. After they both calm down, Luffy then begins barraging him with questions. Why did Shanks come here? Why did he come to see you? Did he have some business here? Is he still in Elbaf? Well, Loki, of course, is not going to tell him for free. So yeah, he's probably gonna trick Luffy into freeing him with the offer of answering all his questions. And knowing Luffy, he is just dumb enough to release Loki just to know the whereabouts of Shanks. But knowing how One Piece goes around, Luffy might even get Loki under his wing. That's right, the 11th Straw Hat is here, guys. 5 Archie's going to drop down in ranks even more.
I can't take this shit no more.
Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. Don't go after me. Anyway, jokes aside, we move to Zoro's group, who barely escapes Road and starts heading towards the villages in Elbaf. We even get to see Geld and Goldberg chase after Road, with Goldberg carrying the Sunny on top of his head. I guess Hydrogen must have failed to mention to Road that they are underlings of the Straw Hats now? Or maybe he just didn't know. But speaking of Hydrogen, it's revealed that he too is in the Underworld. He started killing some of the beasts so he can surprise the Straw Hats, especially Luffy, with some good tasty meat. Oda even gives us their backstories in case we forgot, and it's shown that the new giant warriors are led by Hydrogen and the next generation after Dory and Broggy, with Geld being the doctor, Stanson being the shipwright, Road being the navigator, and of course my guy Goldberg being the cook. But them being in the Underworld, they might actually bump into Luffy. Regardless, we get back to Frankie's group. Brooke ends up giving Robin a new look, or should I say an old one. That's right, Robin now has her old pre-time skip haircut since she wants Saul to recognize her. Such a wholesome moment.
It's enough to make a grown man cry, but not this man.
And with this, they finally reach Elbaf. Now Robin's gonna meet Saul and everyone's gonna live happily ever after. Right? Gosh dang it, Oda, why? Why do you do this? We got to a person who comes in screaming, saying that Saul has collapsed and isn't moving. Just when Robin was gonna meet one of her childhood best friends, Oda pulls this shit off, and we only recently got him back. The Straw Hats just can't seem to catch a break. But if you guys want to help us catch a break, then make sure to check out gamersubs.gg and use the code ABD to get yourself 10% off. It's a pretty good deal, especially because it will help you binge our content. In fact, make sure to check out this video next.